tame, and it sings to me. Coastal Connections welcomes the soft and mystical voice of Emme Lentino to discuss her life's journey in upcoming shows.
Got a feeling not enough, trying to keep it all together. And there's a key deep inside of me, unlocking thoughts I'm afraid to see. Spirits lead this.
Hey, welcome to Coastal Connection with Emme Lentino. Woo! Hey, how's it going down under? What time is it down there in New Zealand?
New Zealand. Yes, it's 12 noon on Monday here for me. And hello to everyone that's out there. It's great to be on the show. Thanks, guys.
So it's like tomorrow.
Yes,
tomorrow,
I know your
today,
future, boys,
today,
and it's
tomorrow.
amazing.
Wow. Yeah, but it's a pleasure meeting you. I mean, it's cool.
Nice to meet you as well.
Hey, so Emme, it's great to have you on the show. And you're originally from Oregon, and you moved down under. You were on Broadway. Hey, could you just give everybody a little bit of your background on how you woke up one morning and bam, you're in New Zealand, hanging out with the Kiwis and the the pigeon birds, like however you call them, and let me know.
Yeah, well, it was definitely, my life has been an adventure, and as a little girl, that was always what I dreamed of, was to have an adventurous life, and I certainly have had that. So yeah, grew up in Oregon, went to school in Seattle, Washington, graduated early, toured around Europe, got a job as a theater director and actress for a children's theater company, and I toured, I think, 35 different states when I was 21 and 22, all over America doing theater. Moved to San Diego, moved to LA, then moved to New York City, where I was working. I was Lucille Ball off Broadway for quite a while, and enjoyed that experience. Did lots of teaching kids dance and music, and I had about 7 jobs pretty much from the time I was about 18 until 30. That was my life. Just lots and lots of jobs, lots of adventures, lots of people, and fast forward, about 30 years old, decided to move to New Zealand, and because I fell in love. And that's kind of how it all ended up. Left New York, so I went from subways to sheep, and was staying on a sheep farm. And so that's kind of how it all happened. And I've also given a timeline as well, in case, because I get asked all sorts of questions like, how old are you, and how did you fit it all in? And so I'm just hanging it all out there. I'm a mature woman.
Love it.
Yeah. So I have a question. When you were on Broadway, was that New York Broadway?
Yeah. So it was, and It was off Broadway. So technically, for anyone that lives in New York City, I know that you've got to be right on the mark here. So it was literally an avenue over, and it was called Bubba Lucy, and it was a show that was created by an amazing actor who portrayed Desi Arnaz. And I stepped into the role after a gal wasn't able to do it, and I had to learn the whole show in like 3 or 4 days. It was a dream come true. To this day, my favorite role ever that I got to play.
Very nice. So you were like around the downtown and around the village area.
Yeah.
You had fun.
I had a lot of fun. It was still like, I still remember the day that I found out that I got hired, and it was all really fast, bada boom, bada bang. And I went in and I had my rehearsals, and I had all these lines to memorize and all this dancing and stuff. And I remember going to a cafe around the corner, and I was just so excited that I just sat down and I didn't even order. I was just like, I must have had the most goofy grin on my face. And this guy comes over and he's like, you seem really happy, but I'm wondering if you want to order anything, since you've been here for like 20 minutes, just smiling. And I was like, oh, yes, I do.
Very nice. That's interesting. That must have been an adventure. I mean, I like Broadway in New York. I mean, you made it to the big times, kid. I mean,
it was pretty cool. Yeah. And then decided, let's go to a farm. Let's go hang out with some sheep.
Well, so when did you start getting into? So when you were, as a young child, when did you realize that, hey, you know what, I'm going to get into this act thing? Was somebody in your family in it? I mean, there's always a progression, and we talk to artists all the time, and everybody has a different story. So, like, what's your story that made you decide, you know what, I'm going to get in the entertainment business and pursue that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think growing up as a young girl, my parents always had music playing, and they loved music. And we were a big musical family. There was music from all the genres playing, and I really, really loved that about my parents. And they also brought me to theater. I remember I was 4 years old and I saw Annie. And we had to drive like 2 hours to go and see this show. And it was so amazing. And at the intermission, I stood on the chair, which you're not supposed to do, but I was 4. And hopefully I was too adorable to tell off. But I got it and I was like, this is what I meant to do, Mom. And she was like, get down, sit down. And then we went home and she's like, Daryl, I think our daughter needs to get into the theater. So that's kind of how it started. I mean, I told my mom and dad that this is what I wanted to do. Wizard of Oz was a huge love for me. All the songs, loved Judy Garland. And I think it kind of progressed from there. I didn't really start writing music, though, until I was about 10. My cousin was involved in a horrible car accident and passed away. And it really shook me up as a 10-year-old. I mean, it really freaked me out to realize that life wasn't a fairy tale and that people don't live forever. I don't know if that would make sense to anyone else out there, but at 10, I still probably had that notion. And so it was a real wake-up call, and I didn't know how to express myself. So that's why I turned to music and ended up writing my first song, like the verse and chorus and bridge for her and her family. And that's how I kind of started the singer-songwriter journey. Obviously, at 10, a little different than it is now. But yeah, I think music is super healing, and it's gotten me through really hard times, for sure.
So as a writer, do you work more off the poetry side, or do you work more off the emotional or whatever you feel? Because some people write really great poetry, but they can't turn it into a song. So to me, it's an acquired skill set to be able to make that transition, to make the rhythm, but still get the feeling of what you got to say on paper out in a voice, a beautiful, lyrical voice. So, and you do very well at that, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. That's really nice of you to say. I mean, to answer your question, really, I think there's really no formula. There are times when poetry comes to me. I call it poetry in motion, and the lyrics come really, really quickly, and I can't even write them down fast enough. So that's where things like voice memos on iPhones and stuff work really well. I always have tons of journals. I have a journal in my car. I have a journal in the basket of my bike. Her name is Elba. I have a journal in my guitar case, and then I have serviettes that I write. So we call it over here napkin. Where I write stuff. So there's lots of those things, and then sometimes the melody and the lyrics will come at the same time, and it's usually when I'm driving, which at a stoplight you can quickly press record on your phone, and I'm driving. A lot of my music has also been written that way. And sometimes it's in the studio. So I think it's just the inspiration usually happens, when I least expect it. And for me, I feel that's when I kind of tap into, the heavens. And I feel like I'm kind of, I don't know, just sort of in tune with what needs to be written. Maybe there's someone out there that's struggling, and I'll get that kind of feeling and I'll start writing. My music's always based on encouragement. I think everybody needs an uplift in their life, and everyone needs to be reminded that they're loved and appreciated. And I really try to bring that through and I would say the majority of my music is kind of centered around that with theme. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate that. So now you have 2 daughters.
That was deep. That was good.
Thank you, Mark.
No problem.
I love your voice. It's like fantastic. Both of you have I guess that's why you're doing what you're doing, right? You have the voices.
I guess.
Yeah. Yes, 2 little girls. And they're the loves of my life. I love them so much. Every day is a fairy tale when you have kids. Some fairy tales are more fun than others, but yeah, they're lots of fun. They've got great personalities. Really love music and dance, and I don't know where they get that from, of course. And
Me neither.
yeah. But it's lots of fun. Yeah, we have lots of fun together.
So I mean, so you've been in the entertainment business, and you know the ups and downs and the struggles in it, and especially from a childhood onward. So I mean, is it a career that you're looking at putting your daughters into as they pursue ventures down the road? I know you're going to support them because you're that supporting mother, but you prepare them the best you can. But what do you think their strong suits are at this young age? Do you think they're ready to go into acting, or maybe into just musicals, or what do you think?
I mean, that's a great question. I think my youngest little girl really wants to do commercials, and she wants to, I haven't pursued really anything for either one of them. I really let them take the lead, kind of probably like my parents did as well. I think kids, they have their personalities, they have their focus, and they're very good about expressing them. And it's our job to listen, and then to also guide them and help kind of lead the way and give them some wisdom, especially about things that are, difficult. Like the entertainment business is gorgeous, but it has the other side of things as well. So I think to answer your question, probably there's the acting and the dancing and the music that they both love. And I think theater is a great way to start. That's how I got my start as well. And I think there's something really beautiful about the theater community. And it's a great way to work together with other kids, and you learn things, you gain confidence, public speaking. So I think that's probably where I'd point them in that direction. And they both dance. They love dance, all kinds of dance. And I think it brings them a lot of joy. So as long as those things in the arts are bringing them joy and are helping them with community and helping them socialize, I think, I'm all for it. And we'll just see as, it's a different world now than it was when I was little.
Absolutely.
And I'm aware of that. And so I think there is, I'm more mindful now of, exposure to things and keeping them, making sure that they know that I love and support them. It's always a safe place. They can always come to me and talk to me about things and, kind of work through. We're on the same team, I guess is what I'm saying. With lots of words in between.
I know, no, I definitely know the feeling. So since you're in New Zealand right now, New Zealand over the last like 10 years has been like this hopping place for a movie industry. It's been just growing as far as just because of the aesthetics of the place. So how is that helping you as you pursue, other avenues other than just singing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, if we were talking 2.5 years ago, there was a huge amount of things being filmed here. And, as someone that has dual citizenship here in New Zealand and America, and obviously have an American accent, great opportunities. I think as we've all seen with COVID and things are changing constantly. We've had a lot of restrictions. Our borders have been closed for 2 years now, and only those that have applied for, film crews and stuff could get in. So I think we're seeing it's been minimized to some degree, some of the opportunities. But in saying that, I think it's like anything. There's kind of the highs and the lows of opportunities, and I certainly think that into the future, things will continue to move forward and in our industry. I think things are starting to open up more, and people are excited about the future, and they want to tell stories. I mean, I think that's the one thing we all did in lockdown, right? We were using our imaginations and we were creating content, and people were getting into expressing themselves in whatever avenue. Business people that have never done any of the arts, I've met them and they're like, oh my goodness, I got into pottery, or I'm a poet now. And I think it's really cool. I think that's a silver lining with how things have kind of progressed in the last couple of years. Is I think people are a lot more hungry for the arts, and they're wanting to be a part of that self-expression. So that's really cool. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it did.
Yeah.
It did, because COVID kind of forced people to reevaluate their lives. I mean, really reevaluate their perspective on a lot of things. And I know you hit some key points. The soul searching piece, as we evolve, because I'm in my 50s, and definitely the evolution of when we have to look at when we evolve. So we've looked at your feeds and a lot of stuff you've done. And so can you kind of give me a little bit of the journey on your evolution from where you started to like where you're at now, and then some of the projects you're probably going to be working on?
Sure. Well, as I said earlier, started writing music when I was 10, and I knew from an early age that music was a way to express, but also to find healing within myself, but also to extend that to other people. And theater was always a big part of, playing parts and imagination. And I think that's why I'm so drawn to doing music videos and telling the story and having actors and working with people. And I think that from there, it was just realizing that I could make a living as a songwriter, perhaps not necessarily as the vocalist, but someone that could write music and could license those songs to TV and film and commercials. So I started doing that in my 20s in LA, got signed to a kind of a boutique called the Producers Lab, but kind of a boutique licensing firm, and did that. And, and then when I moved to New York, I was lucky enough to do some amazing songs and fun stuff with DJs and producers. And some of those songs got picked up by like Victoria's Secret commercials and stuff. So I think the progression went from, learning to write music and theater and acting and going on tour to seeing that, that the songs are so powerful and they are the story, stories that people love to connect with. And then the great news is that, if that didn't all turn out, I could still sing. For anyone that wanted me to, doing charity events and helping bring light and love to as many kids as possible here in New Zealand, which is a big part of what I do. Even now, started a little theater company in the small town that I was living in, and sang for hospice. It was all about music. It was all about let's focus on the things that we can do that are going to be beneficial, rather than the stuff that we can't change. And so my message now is even more of that. 6 years ago, Tony passed, and it was devastating for my whole family and the girls. And I think from there, we've seen that the memories of the people that we love live on in the things that we do to pursue the dreams that we have. And as long as we're moving forward, and as long as we're, respecting people and being kind and being true to who we are, I feel that life can only keep getting better. And my focus now is to be as creative as possible, to have no fear, and to continue having an adventurous life, because it is my passion.
I'm bringing that knowledge, everyone. That's that exclusive.
Oh yeah, so you're spot on all with everything you're saying, and because you're like all of us, we've had moments and tragedies in our life, and we learn from them, and you just grow. So all right, so I'm gonna put you on the spot because I'm gonna play this one video because it's my favorite song, and then you got to just tell me something about it, because I'm sorry, I live here in Tampa, and this is just all about Tampa to me. So hey, Mike, can you pull it up real quick, see if we can make it work?
You want me to pull it up? I'll pull it up.
Pull it up, man. And what's it doesn't, no sound.
No sound?
No sound.
Damn.
All right, so I tell him every time, he doesn't believe me. Hey, show business. Hey, so Emme, tell me, Oceanside, what was it? It's a beautiful song, and it has everything. It shows family. It shows like everybody hanging out. I mean, I live in Tampa, and it's just like
you could say I've been my love, kind of feeling not enough, trying to keep it all together. And there's a key deep inside me, unlocking thoughts I'm afraid to see. Spirits lead this mystery. Spirits lead this mystery. I wanna feel the sun on my skin. Sandy.
All right. Hey,
I'm jamming to my own jam.
Hey,
yeah.
I freaking love that song.
Thank you. I love it too. It's a song that I co-wrote with an amazing producer and songwriter out of LA, Greg Cortez. We wrote it over Zoom. You know, we couldn't even physically be in the same place because he's in LA and I'm here in New Zealand. It was during obviously the very strict lockdown that I think everyone around the globe was experiencing. And the sea is so magical. And you know that living where you live. You could literally go to the sea and be completely upset about everything. And then you just stand there and you realize how small you are with this majestic force that is the ocean. And kind of everything just sort of puts itself right, if you will. And I wanted to do something for myself and my family and all the people that I knew around the globe that couldn't get to the sea, right? The lockdown. A lot of people didn't live near the ocean, and so they couldn't physically be at the sea and they couldn't experience that free feeling. And I wanted to encompass that nostalgic kind of feeling of when we're at the beach with our friends and all the beautiful memories that we make when we're by the sea. And I wanted to put it into a song. And Greg and I wrote it over a course of, probably 2 Zoom sessions. We were really excited. We knew we were onto something.
2 Zoom sessions.
Zoom sessions. And the recording had to be via Zoom as well, and audio movers for all those tech fans out there. We co-produced it with Dan Antonovich, who also lives here in New Zealand and who I've worked with a lot. He's produced a lot of my music. And so he and Greg co-produced the song, and it was really, really fun. And then, of course, once it was out, I really wanted to do a music video. Once again, there wasn't really an option to, hire a crew or anything. So did it on my iPhone.
What? No, stop.
Yes.
That is done on an iPhone.
Yeah, except for there's 3 parts that are not. So there was a drone that was used. A good friend of mine in the film industry who lives in LA was like, hey, I've got this amazing editor. He likes your music. I'm going to help you. And he's going to go out and do some drone stuff. And I said, that's great. And then I used a snippet from a music video that I did here in New Zealand for a song that was to help prevent suicide called Shine. I used a little bit of that where we're building a bonfire. But the rest of it is, my family, it's the girls' friends, and they were really excited to be in it. They told all their friends, I'm in a music video. And it was really fun. And I have to thank Prashant Shah, who is a dear friend and mentor and business partner of mine, who lives in Las Vegas, is an amazing film producer and really made he got together with Mahesh and said, hey, look after my friend, edit this for her. And without it, I'm not an editor. I can shoot things and I can have an opinion about how things go, but to actually put it together in a way that's really beautiful is not my skill set. So I just want to thank all the editors out there, because it really is an amazing talent to be able to take creations and really put it together in a beautiful kind of Picasso. I will never be taking your job. That's for sure. No.
Oh, but the thing I like is you just gave, hey, for those people with iPhones, you just got to plug because you can do your cinematography with your iPhone, and you can do your music video. There you go.
Music video.
You heard it right here.
Any smartphone, really.
That's right.
And I think we all have had to diversify our talents and our skills, right? Because nothing that we would normally do was happening. We had to kind of go, oh, wow, I still have to do this work, and I have to do it differently. So. All
right. So you told me before we got on, when you got on earlier, while we were just, jaw-jacking as I always do, you got some stuff coming up and you're doing voiceovers and you're doing some different projects. So how did you get into voiceover? Because, like Mike's got the deep voice and everything.
He's got a great voice. He got a great voice. I did voiceover work when I was living in LA and New York. And a lot of it was, it wasn't through an agency. It was kind of like, you know, I happened to be in the same studio and they were doing this water park ad, and they said, "Oh, can you sing on this?" And a lot of like freebie stuff, which now looking back, I was like, oh, maybe I should have been a little bit better on the business side. And then kind of fast forward, now I'm into radio. I work for Heart of Indie Radio. I do their shows 2 nights a week, and I should say, 2 nights a week, Saturday and Sunday.
Oh,
And
whoa, before you go any first, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to ask you that before you get too far. All right, you're in the heart of India. I see them on Twitter, and I've seen the like links for them on Facebook. What are they a country station? What kind of station are they?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. No, it's independent. So they're all about the indie artists and giving independent artists around the globe an opportunity to be on the radio. And it's completely free. Everybody's a volunteer. It started with Hands of Grace Ray of Light. So it's suicide prevention and music education, and helping parents and teachers basically create environments around the globe that will really help promote kindness and help people. They have got like a crisis hotline that's attached to the organization. And then they were like, hey, everyone loves music and music is healing. Why don't we start our own station? So they started about 5 years ago and became a fully licensed station. And they help independent artists, you know, with their careers, free advice. And 3
Oh,
and a half
I need
years
a
ago,
link.
Yeah.
I need a link. We gotta need
The
a link on that
so
one.
it's heartofindieradio.com. If you're anywhere around the globe, you can find all of the shows there. You can also find out more about suicide prevention programs and how volunteers are helping kind of, you know, promote kindness with that. And we're also on Mixcloud as well, under Heart of Indie. And we've got a show on Friday night, which is the Memphis show with Avery Raquel and Eddie Davis, and the Nashville show, which is Nashville music, with Emme Lentino and Eddie, and then our European show, which is like great DJs from around the globe, really cool dance music, and that's on Sunday nights. Yeah,
that's what's up. I like that.
Yeah, I do too. A lot of my music now is kind of for that. You know, I want to dance. I want to dance it out.
That's what's up.
All
hey,
right.
hold on. Vince, you don't know what we're talking about. We understand. You don't know. That's why he was quiet. He was like, what?
What?
No, I grew up on techno in Germany. So, you know, so Mike, when I brought you up, he was like, "Oh, who?" I'm like, "Yeah, see, because you don't get out as much." So he's perpetrating a fraud right now, so you know. So I'm gonna let him go with it. I'm gonna let him live the lie.
You guys are hilarious.
Wow. I'm embarrassed. Not.
Oh yeah. So you know when you talk about moving over there, I grew up in Europe, so I definitely can understand. Yeah. So ich sprechen Sie Deutsch zu viel. Yeah. So I moved over in the 70s, and I grew up in Germany, France, Italy. You know, around a little bit. So definitely know about being the kid from America moving over to the foreign country and rolling. And guess what? There's no poisonous snakes or spiders. It's too damn cold. Hey, Emme, it has been a great show having you on. And if you could give any advice to any young people out there, maybe going through some things or trying to get into entertainment, what if you had to leave your imprint in history, what would it be, my girl?
Wow, that's a big question. I hope that I can do it. My answer does the question justice. I think first and foremost, I would say to anyone out there, whether you are someone that loves music or loves to perform, the first thing you want to do before you pursue that dream is to really get to know who you are. And why I say that is time and time again, as you get older and you pursue your dreams, you learn pretty quickly that people are determined to tell you what to do. And if you don't hold an anchor and really, really figure out what it is that you want to say and who you want to be and how you want to proceed, there are plenty of people in the background that will set that path for you. And I'm sure no one wants that, right? We all want to be independent. We all want to kind of take things by the reins and do things that we're meant to do. And so I think to be able to do that, we have to be really clear with what our purpose is. And the next thing I would say is that I myself have struggled with things, and I know that all of us in varying degrees, especially in the last couple of years, have faced challenges and have lost loved ones or have been separated from people, and we have felt really isolated. And I think it's really important that as much as we can be in community. You know, we all can go through things, but having friendships and having people that we can connect with and that we can be creative with, listen to music with, you know, it really brings our heartbeat up and it gives us joy. And joy really is a healer. And so I would encourage everyone that might be struggling or might be feeling like hopelessness or, gosh, you know, things are never going to get better. I got to tell you, things will, and they do. And that's something that I've learned throughout my life, that tomorrow really is a new day. We just have to step in with faith and let ourselves be open to the new adventure that is tomorrow. And that would be my advice.
Awesome. All right. Much love to you. We appreciate you coming on the show, and hey, it's the afternoon, so you know, I guess it's time to go get some lunch for you, and we're going home for dinner. So Mike, you got anything before we sign off?
Pleasure meeting you. You're awesome. Keep it up. Great work.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It means a lot.
And as we always say, aspire to inspire and keep it rolling.
Oh, I like it. Rolling. That's good. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Vince. It really means a lot to be on the show.
No
and
problem.
Thank you, everyone.
That's how we do it.
Do your thing. Speak your mind. Just be